started with nothing, started with wholesaling because I didn't have any resources. I made my first $1 million by the time I was age 28. I became a multimillionaire by age 30. About 8-9 years in the game, I got this wild idea to create some multiple streams of income, and it was a side hustle. I didn't know I was going to be an educator or what people call a guru, but I fell in love with real estate because it changed my family's life, and I just am a deal junkie, man. I love real estate. I'm that weirdo that dreams about freaking houses. I'm like the house whisperer, you know. I really thoroughly enjoy deal making and being in the trenches. I love it.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the CareCast. Insanely excited about the guests I've got here today. And I was actually down in Phoenix a few months ago and reached out to Cody, who I haven't seen you for, I guess it wasn't too long ago before that. We were in Tampa together. But before that, it seemed like ages. And many of you guys and gals probably recognize Cody, have seen his content. And for those who have not, I'll introduce you guys to Mr. Cody Sperber here in a second. But there's a couple really unique things that you guys are going to be getting from this episode. So the time that we're recording this right now, it's kind of the middle of coronavirus hysteria. We're kind of in not really lockdown, but restaurants are closed, things like that. And so there's just a lot of kind of topics we're going to dive into today. What are they feeling in their flipping business and the rehab business? What's kind of our outlook on economy? Kind of like, what did we see a decade ago, 12 years ago in the last one? How are their parallels? All kinds of cool stuff we can talk about, y'all. But I want to officially welcome on for the first time ever, Mr. Cody Sperber, Clever Investor. What's up, man?
Woohoo! I'm here. What's up? Thanks for having me.
Dude, I appreciate it. Like I said, down there in Phoenix is cool, being able to tour the office and see where all the magic happens. And thanks for inviting me in there for a little bit. It's fun hanging.
Yeah, for sure. You know you got an open invite.
I love it, man. I love it. Dude, so for those people who aren't familiar with you, let's kind of set the context. Who are you? What do you do? Where do you live? Kind of what's your market? And I always kind of like set stage too, kind of what's your family, situation? Are you married, kids, things like that?
Yeah, I'll lead with what's important because I am married. Excuse me. My best friend has been with me since long before I ever made real estate profits.
Yep.
And she's amazing. Her name is Shannon, and she's been my rock and definitely the biggest motivator I could have ever asked for. And we have two amazing kids together. Hudson is mini me. If any of you guys have seen any of my ads or have come into my world in any way, shape, or form, you've seen Hudson because I heavily get him involved in the business. And he's my thinker, right? He's my Lego master. He wants to be a pilot or a builder or a real estate investor. He's engineer type, and he's a gamer. And my daughter, Brinley, is like just a freaking stud. She wants to jump off roofs and try. She just broke her arm. She just got her cast off yesterday. She's a maniac, competitive cheerleader, 9 years old, just a beast, and just a ray of sunshine to me.
Love
and
it.
So obviously those are my why and my business. Most people know me from my education company, Clever Investor, because it's grown and it's gotten pretty large. And on social media, I've been really aggressive over the last about 8 years as social media has started kind of getting going. I've been really leaning in on certain platforms, and we could talk about some different hacks I've done along the way. But I've cracked the code on some social platforms. So I'm really known as an educator, but long before that, I was a real estate investor. Started with nothing, started with wholesaling because I didn't have any resources. I made my first $1 million by the time I was age 28. I became a multimillionaire by age 30. About 8-9 years in the game, I got this wild idea to create some multiple streams of income. And a lot of people were coming to me at the time. I was doing really well in my real estate wholesaling business. We were one of the larger wholesalers here in Phoenix. And I built some software and some technology that was really cutting edge. You got to go back to 2009. Nobody was using text message marketing or ringless voicemail marketing or, building funnels and all that stuff. And I was really aggressive with all that. And we had this little platform, and I decided to start to sell it. And that was the birth of Clever Investor, the education company, because people wanted the tools that I was using or the training I was, they wanted to know what I was doing.
Yep.
And they just started coming to me, and it started gradually and took off. And it was a side hustle. I didn't know I was going to be an educator or what people call a guru, but I fell in love with real estate because it changed my family's life. And I just am a deal junkie, man. I
Mm.
love real estate. I'm that weirdo that dreams about freaking houses. I'm like the house whisperer, you know. I really thoroughly enjoy deal making and being in the trenches. I love it. So
And dude, so one of the things too, we've known each other for a long time, and like I said, there are a lot of gurus who are the teachers and don't have a business that actually is flipping or doing what they're teaching today. And you've got a really active business where you've got a team over there. We just finished up working with Bryant and the team over there to build out the sites on Carrot for you guys for the acquisition, the disposition side of things, and you guys do a lot of deals. So you guys definitely have a really cool perspective right now in the market in Phoenix, which Phoenix is a competitive market. But then also, there's some cool things you've done, which we might get into today on, how do you set up a business so it can give you more of that freedom, more of that flexibility, but you set it up to scale. So let's kind of dig into this, man. So on the real estate side of things, what do you guys do? Kind of what's the whole suite of products you guys offer so everyone can go, cool, this is what the business looks like. And then what's the team look like on the investment side of things?
yeah, great question. So like I said, I started off wholesaling, and most of us start off as like a one man or one woman show.
Mm-hmm.
And that was me. And my wife was kind of helping. She wasn't really, at the time, she was my girlfriend. She wasn't super interested in real estate. And so she would just kind of add value, be a soundboard. But I was doing it on my own. And I got pretty good at wholesaling after kind of a curve, right? There's this learning curve and there's a relationship curve that you have to go through.
Yep.
Even if you get lucky, even if you like pick up the phone and just smile and dial some Craigslist leads and you get lucky and you do a deal, that doesn't mean you're a real estate investor with a stable business. You're probably not going to get lucky again. You just happen to hit the right person at the right time. And so I struggled in the beginning to get the business off the ground. And it wasn't until I got a mentor to kind of show me what I was doing that I finally started getting some traction. And I only wholesaled for maybe 2 years because I was scared. I was scared to pull the trigger and put money into a deal. I didn't understand rehabbing. I didn't have the tools and the resources and the relationships. But over time, I started getting more confident. And I think at some point, a wholesaler sells the deal.
Yep.
And they go, oh, I should have kept that.
Yeah.
Oh, why did I let that one go? And it was like a big deal. I made maybe 20 grand and the person made 120 grand, you know? And it was like, that's 5, 6 wholesale deals, maybe 10, depending on where you're at. Like, I would rather take the bigger profit. And so finally I started getting irritated that I was giving out all the good deals, and I got the courage and I started rehabbing, and it started with lipstick on a pig. And eventually I got the team assembled and got good at rehabbing. And then I finally my mentor slapped me in the head one day and was like, dude, you are so stupid for giving away all of this wealth. And I was just like, what are you talking about? I went from a broke bookkeeper. I drove a piece of crap Nissan pickup truck. I had $30,000 in credit card debt. Nobody in my family ever made any significant money. I was the most successful person. I'm in my 20s. What are you talking about? Like, you're nuts. And he's like, you don't get it. You get sick. You stop working. The whole thing stops. You need rentals. You need a portfolio. You need wealth. And you're giving it away. So finally I started he forced me to start cherry picking out and start building a little portfolio. So I've done it all, honestly, at this point. High-end spec builds, done $2, $3, $4 million spec builds, bought $5, $6 million houses and flipped them in California. Some people might recognize me from the TV show $1 Million Listing Los Angeles. I've been on that a few times. And then right now, my business has actually grown because at a certain point, I got tired of doing it all. And I realized that as an entrepreneur, there are certain power principles. And if you master the power principles, you can make significantly more money, because what I was doing was, and I had this false belief that I was better than everybody else. I could do the marketing better. I could do the management better. I can do the lead better. I could do it all, right? I was better at negotiations. But the reality, I wasn't better at any of it. I was actually the bottleneck in my life. And leverage is power. And that's a power principle. And if you master the art of leveraging other people's time, money, skills, resources, relationships, whatever, you can start to elevate. And that, like that road between 0 and 100 grand a year, or 0 and 500 grand, or even 0 and a million, there is a cap that you can get to working on your own.
Yep.
Right?
Dude, 100%. Dude, so this canvas back here. So those of you guys that are watching the YouTube version of this, if you're just listening to the podcast version, go to YouTube and watch it, and you can see Cody's awesome background, and you can see this here. So this canvas here, the ultimate goal as an entrepreneur isn't money; it's complete control over your time. Dude, that's for me when I started to make that mindset shift, right? Because when you and I first crossed paths before Carrot even, I was making good money. Same thing as a mid to late 20-something-year-old dude. But at the same time, there was this cap, man. I could never get over. I could never blast through this wall. Like I could see other people above it, but I could never get through it. And I thought, well, maybe it's the business model. Maybe I just need to work harder. Maybe some of those would have helped. But it was pulling back and doing exactly what you said, dude. Like, what am I great at? And how do I plug people in that are way better, like really good at the weaknesses, and coach them up?
Yeah, and it's a tough transition because a lot of us that do this business have an ego, and we think we're great. And so I think I just got to that point where I started going back to, like, when I was in the military, they really cared about systems, right? Everything was documented step by step. There was a process. Well, I was missing the processes because it was just in me, right? And so one of the hardest transitions to be able to leverage other people is to spend time documenting the processes. So that way you can train up other people and start to invest in them so you can free yourself from ever having to do that again. And sometimes that could be technology, like, you've done a great job creating like a follow-up automation process. Someone comes into a funnel, the funnel's all built, they're able to get automated emails and communications and what we would call start to build a relationship automatically. Well, that's technology being used in the right way. And so I started doing that. I really started spending a day or two a week documenting my business, and it was tough. It took a lot of energy and effort to really sit down and do it. And then I would do, as technology evolved, I would do like videos of myself doing things. And now I would have this step-by-step Google Doc and then a video link at the top, and people can watch the video. And now I can hire a VA, or now I can hire somebody locally and show them, hey, this, generating a cash buyer, this is how we do it. You log into Facebook, you go into a group, you infiltrate the group, you look at all the people of the group, you send everybody this particular DM. This is how you reply when they reply. Like, it's a process.
Dude, so one thing that's popping up in people's minds right now, whether they're newer or whether they're doing 3 to 5 deals a month, what's probably popping up is cool. Like, what should I document first? What should I get off my lap first? So for you, Cody, what were some of those things that were the first things you pulled back and said, man, these are the things I got to get off and document? What were the first ones?
Yeah. So there's two things that make a creative real estate deal, right? Motivation and equity, right? If you have motivation and equity, you have a potential deal, right? Because then all of a sudden, most people aren't motivated, right? They're not going to sell to you at a discount. They're not going to do creative deal structurings. If they're going to sell anyway, they'll sell traditionally because that's how they'll get the most money. But the irrational people, or the people that are hurting in some way or motivated, you got to know how to talk to them. And that's one of the most important skill sets, is how to talk to people. And so I was doing that, but I can only talk to so many people in an hour, right? Now there's some more tech that's helping us by like auto dialers and three line auto dialers and that kind of stuff, or systems that blast out mass text messages or mass ringless voicemail. But back then that wasn't there. And so it was just manual power. So first thing I automated was finding somebody that can sit down and just do those repetitive calls just to hunt down, you're not motivated, bingo, motivation. All right, now put that in this bucket, and then just go back to the motivated, hunting for motivation, put them in the bucket, and then I would come in and take it from there. So they were kind of the front line of filtering those first phone calls, so I wasn't wasting as much time. So that was my first person. And then eventually I got some good acquisitions people on my team that were getting pretty dang good at talking to people, which allowed me to elevate up to a like manager position, where now I'm giving them training and helping them develop skills and capabilities to get better at asking the right questions.
Gotcha. Yep.
And that kind of thing. And then eventually I started looking at my business and going, all right, what else? Well, now dispositions. So there's acquisitions and dispositions. I need to build a cash buyers list. What are things on my cash buyers list building that can be automated or somebody else can do?
Cool.
So that was the second thing. And then the third thing was getting a real estate virtual assistant to come in to help me with other things like bookkeeping, keeping things organized. Back then we were running things off like spreadsheets and stuff. Now there's all kinds of cool CRMs, but that's kind of the process I went through. And now, here, I'll just walk you out here real quick.
Oh, dude, for sure.
I have a really large team now, and since coronavirus, nobody is here. That's the only reason
I was going to say, man, when I walked into my office, one of my team members, he owns 10 rental properties. He's on our sales team. He's been the only guy here all week. And then, so I came in, and then Brady came in today. He's like, man, it's been empty all week.
Yeah. So for those of you that can't see, because you're not watching on YouTube, all of these desks are acquisition experts now. We've scaled the team way, way up. They're not here right now, but you can see we got just rows of acquisition people. We got the managers sit right here, right? And so this is like our office manager and does all of our like transaction coordination. We have our floor manager here that is managing everybody. Dispositions is over there. So we got 2 or 3 people selling properties. And then I'll walk over here. You can see our boards. We're kind of a hot mess just because we were grabbing stuff on the way out.
Oh, yeah.
You can kind of see here, we got our boards where we're trying to stay organized. And you can see our deal flow and, all the different markets we're working in. And we got our pipelines everywhere. And
dude, let me ask you a question real quick. So this is kind of a selfish question on the software side. So there's a lot of CRMs out there, right? But what I find with most of the successful investors, they've got a CRM over here, but they always have a deal board in the office. And so for you guys, and I think I know what it is because I have my own crap over here. Like I've got a calendar on here, but I've got a big ass calendar over here that's a whiteboard calendar. Like, why do you guys have a physical deal board when you also have a CRM, and what's the value at play for you?
Yeah, the value is it's so rewarding to when you get off the phone to go up and move the thing physically as a team and see the movement. And then everybody stands up and celebrates and they're like, yeah, we got a contract, or you can ring a bell or something like that.
Yep.
I think and plus, I feel like visual stimulus of this is where we're at and it's always right in front of you is very motivating. So I love tech. We use CRMs and all the fancy stuff, but there's nothing more rewarding than being able to look up as a team all at the same time and say, look at what we're doing, guys.
Yep.
Look at how many deals are moving over into closing and we're killing it. And I don't know if we have it up here. It must be on the backside of this board. We have, monthly goals. So our monthly goal this month is 250,000. It's not on there anymore. We had it written up on this big whiteboard.
I love it. Dude, so which things make it up on the deal board? Like how do you take it from the CRM and decide, hey, this now goes from CRM to deal board?
Well, there's a lot of duplication. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
there's some duplication, but you could see these things are magnetic.
Cool. Yep.
So we created these magnets and you can see what it says on there. It's like creative, assigned, earnest received. Then you can put the address, the acquired date, inspection ends, close of escrow, contract price, asking price, whether it's an exclusive or non-exclusive. We co-wholesale a lot of properties with other people because we have a really big buyers list. So a lot of other wholesalers bring us deals. And so we created this little, so it says earnest, close next week, close this week, close not paid. You can kind of see the process flow. And
dude, I love that. So anyone who's listening to the audio version, you guys got to go over to the YouTube side. Just go to carrotcast.com. You'll be able to see our page, click the YouTube link, go subscribe. While you're there, go find Clever Investors, subscribe to them as well. And you can find all the stuff that Cody's doing, but you can physically see what Cody's walking through with his deal board, how it works, some of those processes. Dude, that was cool. Thanks, man.
Yeah, a little behind the scenes. So now we're at scale. So to answer your final question is I have 13 rehabs going, 11 normal rehabs, which until a week and a half ago, before this coronavirus craziness, I would have said, man, we're going to kill it on all our rehabs. Now I'm freaking out a little bit because we have 11 regular rehabs in motion, anywhere from 300,000 up to 700,000. And then I got one piece of land that I just bought in Scottsdale for 625,000 that we were in motion on going to build like a $3 million house on it. Now I'm panicking on that.
Yep.
I have a house in Arcadia that we were selling at the top of the market that is in its final stages and about to go on the market. And I got another house that's over $1.5 million. So I have 3 properties over $1.5 million. Phoenix is not like LA. These are really expensive properties, and in a changing market, or when people are scared, luxury real estate is one of the first to get hit. And so I'm bracing for impact. We took an offer on a deal the other day, 20 grand below list. I accepted it because I was like, screw this. I was going to make 40 grand on the flip. Now I'm making 20 because I took it for 20 less. I was like, screw it. 20 grand is better than losing money. And I don't know what's about to happen.
Dude, so let's kind of dive into that now. So you've been doing this for a while, right? You've been doing this for not 2 years, not 5 years. You've been doing it since the last market shift over a decade ago. And so are you seeing any similarities? It's so early right now, right? I mean, we're in history as we speak right now. We're going to be looking back in 5 years going, oh, you guys remember where like all of America shut down for 2 weeks or a month? Or we like you said, we don't know what the impacts are going to be. We know that businesses are shutting down because they have to, but what could happen there, right? There's a bunch of people that aren't going to get paychecks the next 2 weeks, 4 weeks. There will be some businesses that will not be able to recover. I think most will open their doors again, but there will be some that just didn't have the cash reserves and they were just skating by, and they're not going to be able to recover after this. So then there will be some lost jobs. Unemployment will likely rise. How much? Who knows? Like we won't know until it all shakes out. But there will be some effects there. I've kind of been looking at things, and there's philosophies over here where you go, well, 3 to 6 months, things will start to kind of get back to where they were with some after effects. Some people are saying this is that black swan event that finally triggers the recession that some people, and I've been preparing for the last couple of years, right at that tail end. So kind of what's your philosophy on it, man? You've been through a couple cycles. What are you looking at right now?
Yeah, so like you, I was getting prepared. So I'm very cash heavy right now, and I've lowered my expenses over the last year in prepared for whenever a moment like this did happen. So I feel very grateful that I made that call because I sold a couple commercial buildings. I sold my primary residence. I moved into a rental, and I downsized all my overhead on purpose because I wanted to get a lot of cash. And now I'm like, all right, game on. You know, when they say a transfer of wealth, that's really what's happening. It's transferring to somebody else. And a lot of money is lost in the stock market. You're right on unemployment. As a small business owner, I own multiple business, even outside of the real estate space, and we're hurting. You know, I had to make some very tough calls as an owner and entrepreneur about payroll and how to conserve cash flow and what things to cut and what projects to stop. And, you know, a lot of tough decisions are being made right now. And so here's what I think is going to happen. Right now, up until a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, we were a strong seller's market. Low inventory, low mortgage rates, real estate market was booming. It was killing it. I would have told you, man, we're good for another year or two. These kind of events have shifted so hard and so fast, and none of us even understand what's going on. So I think there's like a couple months or a month of really understanding what we're dealing with. But I definitely have already seen and kind of felt some of the change in my personal real estate business. Cash buyers want to buy, but they're really, really selective. The lenders are losing their minds right now. And that's where the problem is lenders, especially private lenders, are trying to pull their money back.
Gotcha.
And regular hard money lenders, they're like being really conservative with how they're loaning. So they're really nitpicking the deals. So right now you got to be getting them really below the median at a big discount for everything to kind of go through smoothly. Retail buyers are just stopped dead in their tracks. And if they are moving forward, they're asking for discounts already, which is weird because 2 weeks ago, the seller was in control. Now the buyer is starting to, you know, step up. And if it continues this way and unemployment goes up, depending on what the government does, I do think that there will be, all the way at least through summer, a massive tremor felt in the real estate space.
Yep.
But this to me is not like the crash of 2008. I think real estate will be the saving grace of America's backbone of the economy because this has nothing to do with real estate.
Yep. Yep.
This is a outside real estate event. And when they transfer the money out of the stock market or oil or commodities, they park it in cash or real estate. And if people can buy at a discount, they're really going to put it in real estate. So that's kind of my prediction. Here's what I think is going to happen. More people are more motivated now than ever. I'm going back through all my old leads and recalling everybody.
Yep.
They told me no 2 months ago or a month ago, but they might tell me yes now.
Yep.
I'm firing up my text message marketing. We're hammering just a massive amount of texts. We're sending out massive amounts of direct mail. And we're ramping up our cold calling right now because everybody's at home. Our contact rate is through the roof right now, and people are willing to talk to us.
That's a good point, dude. That's a really good point right there, because I've been talking to some investors lately who are kind of pumping the brakes on stuff. They're like, "Hey, I'm going to wait to see what shakes out here," and I'm doing the same thing. It's like, no. So that's a great point though, because people are a lot more captive right now, where they're in front of these devices. Even with the online stuff, we're looking at our aggregate data the other day, and there is pockets of increases of searches. Now, on some days there were decreases because no one was thinking about searching for selling a house on certain days. But there are pockets where they've spiked a little bit. And I think they're going to keep on going like this as people are not sure they are sure, they're not sure they are sure of selling. But like you're saying, man, they're captive right now. People are there.
They're there, and our contact rates are great, and they're more motivated now than ever. But they still haven't internalized the pain yet. It's too early. So we have a way to go. But what I would be preparing for now, if I was listening to this in the near future from when this gets released, I would be sharpening my skills and capabilities in certain areas just to be prepared. If it does go to a down market on any way, shape, or form, you got to get prepared now. So first and foremost, creative deal structuring. That's going to be the first big boom, in my opinion. Like going to somebody who is almost motivated, or like they kind of have that deep feeling, but they're not going to sell to you at a rock bottom discount yet. Learn how to do agreement for deeds or wraparound mortgages. Learn subject to transactions. Learn seller carrybacks. Learn how to pull the other levers other than just saying, here's a cash offer.
Yep.
Right? They call my company Clever Investor because that's where I made my bread and butter, is like, hey, listen, I'm a full service real estate investing company. If an all cash offer isn't right for you, we have many more solutions. Let's go through them all, educate you, and see what works for you and your family.
Yep.
By the time I'm done, they're like, yeah, I'll take that one. Right. But I have a lot of tools. And so that's first and foremost. Second is I would review my state's foreclosure process and learn the pre-foreclosure process and try to get my head wrapped around like, okay, what if more distressed inventory started coming out? How can I capitalize on that? Step one, educating yourself. Here in Arizona, people start missing payments. By the third or fourth payment, the lender files the notice of default. That's the first public document that kind of alerts the world that the house is behind in payments. And it starts the foreclosure clock. 91 days later, it goes to auction or gets postponed. And when it goes to auction, it either goes back to the bank or it goes and sells at auction. Well, there's a motivation period about a week or two right before the auction where these sellers get real motivated. And if you learn how to show up, and instead of just showing up saying, hey, I can stop your foreclosure and save your credit, I like to show up and get real creative and just say, look, we can stop the foreclosure. I got a foreclosure bailout loan program. You want to see if you qualify? I could keep you in your house, which, by the way, nobody qualifies for, right? Because they don't have a job or they don't have the income to make the payments back to us. So, hey, but I built their trust. I got my foot in the door. I got further than all of my other competitors because I'm trying to do what they really want to do, which is stay. And through communicating and negotiating, we finally come to terms. And a lot of times I get those deals. So I'd be mastering that. And even though right now the government came and said, we're not going to foreclose, we're not going to evict, right? That doesn't mean they're not going to. They're just postponing it right now. And they can only legally do that for mortgages backed by the federal government. FHA, reverse mortgages, VAs, like any other mortgage can get foreclosed on. The government cannot say to a bank, you cannot foreclose. Right? So I still think foreclosures will happen. There might be a little pause, but we're going to bounce back from this thing fairly quick.
Yep.
but some people aren't. And those are the motivated sellers I'd be targeting right now.
Dude, so I want to unpack a couple things that you said there, because there's a couple things I've been seeing a lot on social media the last week or two, where there's some of the people that are, I'm not going to say that's always the less experienced people. Some of them are experienced people I've seen, but they're coming in here like licking their chops, going, "Hey, Buffett says blood on the streets. That's when you invest," which is true, right? Like when things are going bad, that's when you need to really calculate in a calculated way, go in and add value instead of run away. But there's a lot of people going in like almost rooting for people to fail and almost rooting for the economy to crash. And I'm going, that's not great for anybody in the long term if things in mass crash and fail. But if you can go in there, like Cody's saying, and adjust your methodologies, and you can go in there and really add lots of real value where other investors are not adding value, and go in with the true servant's heart, man, that's where I love it. Like don't root for the people to fail so you can have the opportunity. Root for things to win, but be there ready to add value better than anyone else, so you can capture the opportunity.
1,000,000%. And people will do a deal with you when they can feel your authenticity.
Oh, yeah.
Your enthusiasm. That's where it comes from.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I've gotten so many deals where somebody else offered more,
Mm-hmm.
but they did a deal with me because they liked the way that we approached things and how we educated them and how we showed them all their options. And sometimes we do deals that are definitely not in our best interest.
Yep.
And going above and beyond. So if that's how you operate, it's like karmic debt, right? You're if you do negative, bad things and you take advantage of people, you're going to pay the karmic debt at one point or another. But I've learned over the years, the people that last the long term are the ones that think, big, and they go, all right, my brand, my image, my reputation, it means more than a few bucks. So, well said, man. But I will say this.
Yep.
I will say this, Trevor. Right now, if somebody is listening to this, and your audience might not be those people, because I'm guessing most people listening to this have already kind of woke up. But if you're listening to this and you're looking at your job right now and you're like, God, it is not as secure as I thought it was. And I only have one stream of income.
Yep.
I'm really living on the edge here. And then you look at your bank account and you're like, oh my God, I have no savings. The reality is most Americans don't have a savings account that will prepare them for this. And this is one of those things that it's so far outside of our control. It's like getting a flat tire and fired and divorced all in the same week. It's just like, oh my God, like how much worse can this get? Well, if you're not prepared, right, this is your own fault. And this is your wake-up call to change the way you've been thinking. You should have multiple streams of income.
Yep.
You should have a work from home. What happened this week? Instantly, online learning became the new norm.
Yep.
Working from home became the new norm. Multiple streams of income became the new necessity.
Yep.
This is your wake-up call. And I don't want to like smack people around too much, but like get your stuff together. And now is the time. You have some downtime. You should be leaning in on your education.
Oh, dude, 100%.
Eating bonbons and watching Netflix and getting distracted with the kids off school. You need to find a cubby. You need to start listening to books, listening to these podcasts, taking notes, doing online courses, and developing the skills so you can get out there. That's what I'm saying. It's not get ready to go take advantage of everybody.
Oh, no, not at all, man. Yeah.
Get your stuff together so you're never in this situation again.
Dude, 100%. We're fully in line there. It was one of the coolest things I saw yesterday, the day before. There was a dude, same thing, posted on Facebook. He said, well, I got laid off for the next 3 weeks. He said, perfect time for me to go all in and get this wholesaling thing figured out. I'm like, dude, that's so amazing. So he's doing exactly what you mentioned there. And yeah, you use this as an amazing opportunity. Dude, so I want to shift gears a little bit. And one thing you guys are amazing at, whether it's on the investor side or the clever investor education side, you guys are amazing at marketing. And that's one thing that I've talked about for years, that you've got to be a great marketer. You're in the marketing business, not the real estate business. You're in the marketing business, not the education business, right? Because if you're not a great marketer, your education is going to sit on the shelf and no one's going to see it. If you're not a great marketer, you're not going to be able to get those deals. And if you guys want to follow great marketing, go to cleverinvestor.com, go check out all their stuff and see how they market on all sides of the business, right? On the real estate side and the education side, you guys are amazing at it. And so on the real estate side of things, man, what are you guys doing right now? You mentioned some of it a little bit ago, what you guys are doing to spin up marketing. But what are you guys doing right now that's producing good deals for you? Well, right now it might be a little bit different versus 2 weeks ago, but what are you guys doing right now to produce deals for your marketing mix?
Yeah, what we were doing before all the craziness happened was our number one lead source was artificial intelligence, which is weird because if you would ask me 2 years ago, what is artificial intelligence? I would have looked at you cross-eyed. Like,
Yep.
I don't even understand that. I'm not a scientist or a real smart guy like that. But
Yep.
we met a data scientist at an event a little over a year ago, about a year and a half ago. And he pitched us on this concept. And he said, look, artificial intelligence is coming to the real estate space. You're either going to be an early adopter. And because of my marketing, he knew who I was, right?
Yep.
And so he was like, hey, look, I'd really love to partner up with you and help have you be like the first user of this concept. I'm great at the data. I'm great at the software and all that stuff, but I'm horrible at real estate.
Yep.
So if you could be my real estate partner, we'll be your data partner. And I said, okay, what are you talking about? How does it work? And he goes, well, think about this. Right now, how are you identifying motivation and equity and all that stuff? And I'm saying, well, I'm looking at big data. Well, for anybody listening, big data has been around for a long time, and a lot of companies use big data. And it's like you go to a Coke machine, right? Well, all of a sudden there's these Coke machines with like 50 different flavors.
Yep.
Well, what you don't know is they're actually tracking what buttons you're pressing and how you're comboing the orange with the strawberry or whatever. And they're taking that data and they're making new soft drinks based on the user cases.
Gotcha. Yep.
Right. And so big data is out there. So like we have access to big data in the real estate space. We know everybody that owns a house and what their equity level is based on when they took out a loan or whether they paid cash. We know whether they're occupied or vacant. We know whether they're inheriting it or not inheriting it. We know whether it's fire damage, flood damage. We know there's so much data, out of state owner, in-state owner. We know a lot.
Yep.
And so for many years, we were taking this data and doing what's called data stacking or data layering. And we would say, all right, how do we identify motivation and take a whole bunch of people in Phoenix, which is like 5 million people, and narrow that down to something that's like marketable. And so what we would do is we'd say, all right, what are reasons people get motivated? Well, they own a house that has lots of equity and it's sitting there vacant and they're from out of state and it has this criteria. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath versus 3-2 versus and we would just stack all these things. And that would take this 5 million pool of people and nail it down to maybe 500,000 or 200,000 or 100,000 or 50 people. Well, that was cool. And that's how we started getting more efficient with our direct mail or more efficient with our cold calling. We would take that data, pull it out of the systems, and we'd skip trace it and call them or text them or ringless voicemail them. And that's how we were doing it for a long time. Well, the data scientist came to us and said, look, let's take that to the next level. Let's keep doing data stacking with big data, but now let's also add in smart data. And I'm like, okay, cool. It's smart data. And he goes, basically, there's all these other factors, all these millions, maybe even billions of data points that you're not touching right now. Socioeconomic trends, legal trends, housing shifts, like people moving out of California, moving to Arizona.
I gotcha.
Social media habits, whether they paid their Netflix bills or not, whether they're paying other things, where they last shopped. There's billions of data points on people that are being tracked. Right? We're being tracked. You're being tracked. I'm being tracked. Everything is being tracked because of this thing.
Yep.
And so he's looking at it and going, all right, let's take all these other data points. Let's build an algorithm that's using artificial intelligence and figuring out models of people that have the highest probability and propensity to sell. All right. So think of your credit score. Your credit score, if you have a high credit score, let's say an 800.
Yep.
You're probably going to pay your bills, and that's probability.
Yep.
And propensity means you probably will pay your bills right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? So that's propensity. It's a time frame. And so, well, what if we can identify homeowners, even maybe before they even knew they wanted to sell at a discount, the probability that they will sell at a discount in the next 90 days.
Dude, that's crazy.
All of a sudden you're like, is that possible? Is that a thing? Like, can I really do that? Because that's like the superpower of all superpowers. Like, I'll pay anything for that type of lead.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And he's like, I think we can build this thing. I think we can do it. And so he said, but I need you to feed me all of your closings because I got to build models based around
Gotcha.
like avatars.
Yep.
So we started feeding him all of our closings for the last year. And the first month it kind of sucked. He was trying to get it down. And the second month we started to get some traction. By the third month, it just took off. And what he's doing with that data is what you should be doing as a marketer, which is cross-channel, omnipresent marketing.
Gotcha.
I'm going to say that again because most people probably just, their minds just exploded. Cross-channel, omnipresent marketing. So what does that mean? That means people are busy. They don't take action the first time you send them an ad or show them something, or even if it's sometimes I have to door knock the same house 3 times, 5 times, 7 times. I have to send 10 pieces of direct mail before I finally get a call.
Yep.
So you have to touch them a lot. Well, if they see you on Facebook, then they go to Google, then they go to YouTube, and then they see that the text come through, and then all of a sudden a flyer shows up in their mail. Like, now they're motivated. They know that I know I'm on top of mind, and I'm cross-channel. And so that's what he was doing. He was taking the 5 million people in Phoenix and identifying the 200 that had the highest probability and propensity for selling within the next 90 days at a massive discount. Now I could spend a lot of money. I can't market to 5 million people. It's too much.
Yep.
It's too expensive. But I can hammer 200 on every platform and do it effectively and efficiently. We spent, what did we spend? 10, 20, we spent $30,000, $10,000 a month for 3 months in a row. Then I told him at the third month, if you can't make this work, I'm out.
Yep.
And that's a big investment, by the way. That was
dude.
like going all in, like, Cody Sperber, you're nuts, but this sounds amazing. If we can pull it off, like, it's a game changer. By the third month, things started to click. By the fourth and fifth month, my $30,000 investment turned into $265,000 in returns. I paid out my acquisition managers. I netted 210. So I turned 30 into 210 in about a 5-month span. And I'm discounting the first 2 months as like trial and error. We didn't know what we were doing.
Yep. Dude. So there's a couple fascinating things here. So what your dude is doing is essentially like what Facebook does with lookalike audiences, right? You upload all your data up there. They go look for people like them, and that you serve them up ads, but he's doing it in a manual way. Like he's the non-Facebook specific lookalike audience guy. Which that's killer. And then as far as the omni-channel, are you guys going out there and using different tools to deliver the different things, the ads? Is he doing it?
My deal with them, and I'm unique. Like, if a normal real estate investor came to me, because what I did is I basically became like a master, like how like a master franchisee is, where they kind of control who goes where. He came to me, and the reason I did this deal is he saw two major pieces of value. One, he knew I was an expert real estate investor that could get this thing to work. And 2, he knew that I'd be able to bring him all my students and a lot of people to buy into this thing. And so if you go to cleverinvestor.com and you go to the tools, there's a artificial intelligence tab. So I'm kind of reselling the service as a master kind of deal that I have with him. In exchange, I have the rights to all of Arizona. So he can do it to anybody else in Arizona, which is my market. And I get free AI leads every time I sell somebody into AI.
Gotcha.
So that's my reason for, sharing that with the world is I want more AI leads. I don't want a sales commission. I want AI leads because they're the best leads I've ever owned. Worked. So my whole thing is like, all right, let's ramp up as much AI as humanly possible. If I can, and the way he does it, he guarantees you 50 AI leads a month. And then he profit splits with you. His win is he wants real estate investors to profit split with.
Gotcha.
So his whole pitch is like, look, give me $5,000 a month for 2 months in a row. And I'll give you 50 leads a month, 50 AI leads a month. And then it'll be like a 60-40 split. And if you want a better split, like a 70-30 split, you pay 10 a month for 2 months in a row.
Gotcha.
After 2 months, if you guys are both making money, you never pay another dollar again, and he still gives you 50 leads every month.
That's
So
a killer model.
it's a killer model. He's just trying to vet people who don't close, right? Because he does all the marketing. He does all the, like, once he figured out, I helped him with the messaging and the ads and all that stuff. Once we got that down, it was just like, all right, as soon as someone comes in our world, post, send out the direct mail, send out the text message.
Yep.
What you get is an actual lead. It's not like this seller doesn't know you're calling. They fill out this huge form. They're waiting for you to call. Even they'll even direct connect you.
Dude, that is cool. That's way killer. And y'all, if you guys want to check it out, go to cleverinvestor.com, and then there's a tools tab that Cody mentioned. So go check that out. I love it, man. So you guys are doing that. That's your number one source. I love it. And honestly, that's where things are going to be moving a lot more towards, right? Where you see Facebook using the big data, and they're starting to have to kind of pull some of that data out just from with the Cambridge Analytica thing. But they still are doing that, where you're able to upload your data. A lot of our customers do the same thing. They'll take their inbound leads that closed into deals. They'll take that stuff, upload it in as an audience, as a custom audience in Facebook, do a lookalike audience based off of that, driving them back to their carrot site, but then also skip tracing them and doing what you said, kind of some of that on a manual way. But then you're only really touching the Facebook people. There's a lot of people that aren't going to be on Facebook and getting that lead, which is where you guys are able to access those guys. Yeah. What else you guys doing on the acquisition side? I know you do a little bit online, but hardly any. You've got I think Bryant was saying you guys have closed a few SEO deals from your non-Carrot site before Carrot, before you guys moved over recently. But are you guys going to be doing any ramping up of the online side of things? Is it something where it's just kind of there for branding, but you're focusing offline? What's your guys' strategy moving forward? And this is not a loaded question, by the way. Not a loaded question at all.
I love it. And I think it's smart that you asked, because our new Carrot site is freaking awesome. And we're super excited to drive a lot of traffic to it, because my challenge with our old site is it wasn't good at conversions. And we did get we would get like 1 or 2 deals a month from our old site kind of organically.
Yep.
And some and then we go a month without anything, and then we get 1 or 2 deals, and it was just kind of trickling in. But we tried running some pay-per-click to it, and it just didn't convert very good. And so my plan is, now that we have a kick-butt converting website, we're going to run some pay-per-click to it and Facebook ads and those kind of things. Honestly, our number, besides text message marketing, so I'm big on the data, pulling the right data. We went out and we scraped, and this cost a fortune. This cost like 50, 60 grand. But we partnered with 6 other big wholesalers in town. And we all paid 10 grand. And we scraped every data point in Maricopa County and built this mega list, this mega data list. And we got it all organized. And then we skip traced every homeowner in the valley. And so now we got 5 million freaking records and all this. And now we're just feeding it into our auto dialers and just blasting text and ringless voicemail and phone calls. We're doing that.
Yep.
And I'm sorry if you're small and you're here in the valley, you're screwed, because you're probably listening to this going, I can't do that. But like, yeah, you can. There's so much deal flow. It's luck of the draw.
Yep.
It sounds like we're real aggressive and gangster, and we are, but the reality is I have mom and pop guys beat me to deals all the time. They just built a better relationship or got to them first. And it's luck of the draw. When someone becomes motivated, it can happen, in an instant. So Don't give up hope. You can do lots of deals. There's hundreds and hundreds of deals getting sold at a discount every single month.
Dude, so here's one thing I want people to really zero in on. Then we'll wrap this puppy up. Is when you hear Cody talk about where they're getting their deals, that last thing he mentioned, and then the AI thing, it's still very similar, right? They start with data. They're really good at data. That's something they've learned a lot about. They know a lot about the data. Then they take it, and their playbook is, RVMs, text, direct mail, cold call, things like that. So they have a playbook, y'all. In their playbook, they have scaled the playbook. They're not bouncing around doing 4,000 different things at once, right? They've nailed this thing, and that's their bread and butter. And then they're going to go and deploy marketing over here to see if that works. If it doesn't scale, they kill it, because the main thing is still working over here. And whatever it is, there's a lot of people that are all in on online, and it's crushing it for them. And they kind of dabble over here, and when it works, they scale. When they don't, they go back over here. There's people that are all in on these methods offline and the other way. the thing is, y'all, they both work. What you guys need to do is figure out for yourselves, which one are you going to really master for your business. Go all in on that thing. Nail your systems, like Cody said at the very beginning of this call. Document the stuff, write the processes, build a team where you can, and when it's the right time, and then put that into a system. Then go over here and try this thing, test it. Just like with the AI thing, you didn't know it was going to work, but you tested it. And I think one really key thing too that some people may miss is, you said by month 3 and then month 4 and month 5 is when it started to profit for you. That's how it is with a lot of the different marketing, whether it's the AI thing or doing your first direct mail drops or running Google pay-per-click, and you're trying to optimize the campaigns and optimize certain things or any of that stuff. Sometimes it's a 60-day, 90-day, 120-day cycle to really get the momentum of the optimization going. So
You build up your marketing cojones.
yeah, exactly, man. And you can't give up on that first month or second month because you didn't get enough leads or you didn't close a deal. You just might not have given math a chance to work. And that's where people let emotion creep in there instead of trusting the math. Where Cody's looking at it, and if he knows his average profit per deal is X, 20, let's say 20K, whatever the number is, and he closes X amount of leads into a deal, and he knows if he can get X amount of leads over this 4 months, and he'll close at least 2 deals or 1 deal or whatever the number is, then he knows that 3-month investment of 10K a pop of $30,000 over 3 months, he knows that with the numbers, he should be able to close at least 2 deals from that, i.e. 40 grand in gross profits, meaning he's now ahead. Then he's optimizing it, and then he just keeps on growing it and piling the money back in. Where a lot of people get stuck is they're looking at it going, I want these $20,000 deals, but I'm gonna, hey, how much what could I get done with $1,000 a month in PPC, or what could I get done with $1,000 in direct mail? Could I do that? I mean, maybe if you're doing it for 20 months, like if you're mailing for 20 months and $1,000 a piece, it might work. Or you might get a deal early, but math is not on your side at that point, y'all. So I love it, man. Like you said, we're definitely in kind of wild times. So I'm pumped to see what happens. Honestly, I think there will be short-term turmoil in some spots, and this may be the thing, like I said, that kind of kicks us into the recession that many of us have been kind of waiting for. Now, I have not been wishing for a recession because things have been great the last 5-6 years, but it's something I think, like Cody said, you got to prepare. And if you're not prepared, what can you guys do today to prepare? Part of it might be education. One of the best places you guys can go to learn how to wholesale flip rehab is Clever Investor. So guys, go prepare right now. Go to cleverinvestor.com. Watch Cody's YouTube videos. Put out a great YouTube video the other day on coronavirus and on wholesaling. Is wholesaling illegal? I think I watched that one. And a bunch of stuff, guys. Just go find Clever Investor on YouTube. But Cody, any other spots people can find you, follow you, and any parting words for people if they're just getting going as a wholesaler and going, hey, how do I figure this out? Or even on the other side, they're experienced and they're going, how do I wade through these changes? What's some parting words of wisdom?
Yeah, a couple things. First, if you want to follow me, YouTube is definitely a good place to go. And so is my Instagram. I'm at Clever Investor, and we would love to help you out in any way, shape, or form. Real estate is a great business. It is a relationship business. And, forming the right relationships can make or break your experience and your pocketbook. Yep. And I found that as awesome as I think I am, which that's a little facetious because I am very, I poke fun at myself quite a bit because I am kind of a hot mess, and it's good proof that a person that's a complete hot mess can make a lot of money. You could do it too.
Yep.
But I'm surrounded by great team members, and I'm very lucky that Arizona is a great real estate investing community. A lot of the ideas, thoughts, concepts, and things that I've done along the way have not been my original ideas. I hear things, I see things, other people turn me on to things. I'm very lucky that there's a lot of great, savvy, clever real estate investors here in Arizona, but I am an implementer to the core.
Yep.
I hear it. You don't even have to finish the sentence before I'm already processing how I can actually go and test it, try it. And I do have consistency. You got to have consistency. This business it takes a lot of boring, repetitive work. It's not fancy. It's boring and repetitive. But the people that zero in on the details and do it consistently, those are the ones that win. The people that build the long-term relationships, those are the ones that win. And if you surround yourself with a great team, those are the ones that win. And I'm only here because my team is freaking awesome. And I want to give a huge shout out to my partners, Bryant and Garrett, who at Green Elephant Development, you guys are absolute rock stars. They're huge fans of you. And I know they're going to listen to this. So I just wanted to say thank you to them. Thank you to the entire Green Elephant Development team that sacrifices every day and works their butts off to help homeowners and help build the company and the brand. And thank you, Trevor, because I met you a long time ago, long before you did Carrot, and I was always super impressed. You're an amazing marketer. You're phenomenal at search engine optimization. You've always been aggressive, and you got great culture. And I think that that's one of the things that I admire most about you is I'm a culture guy. I love building teams, and I love making it fun. And I think that as an entrepreneur, when you really start playing the game at the high level, the entrepreneurs that do it really well are the ones that can take their big ass vision, this huge vision of this is how we're going to dominate this industry, and this is how we're going to change the game, and this is how we're going to really impact people and serve, and take that big vision and then allow other people with a big ass vision to get in alignment with them, and is able to communicate in a way that you can have a big vision and I can have a big vision, but together we're more powerful. And that's what you've successfully done in Carrot.
Thanks, man.
You built the dream team that builds amazing products that gets people results. So kudos to you, man. And I have no doubt we'll get through this Corona thing.
Yep.
Hopefully 10 years from now, I'll be watching you just continue to kick butt and take over the game. And I want your Carrot side to give me lots of leads. Let's go.
Likewise, dude. I appreciate you so much. Pumped that you're part of the Carrot community now, but yeah, as a member officially, and y'all go follow Cody. Like I said, follow him, because as you guys go through, as whatever happens in the market, good and bad, you're going to need someone to follow who's kind of plowing ahead with you and for you. And Cody's the perfect guy to do that. So go to Clever Investor, find him on YouTube, find him on Instagram, guys. Have an amazing rest of the week. Make sure you subscribe this puppy, and give us a rating and review. We're getting close. We're getting close to 300 5 stars. Now let's give us a rating and review, y'all. How did you like this episode? How has it changed your mindset in your business? And let us know what we can do better. All right, talk soon, guys.